People report that physical infidelity is unforgivable. It occurs in about 25% of married relationships, but 70% in unmarried relationships. We're going to talk about who does it, why it happens, and what to do about it if it does. If you are somebody that is about to do the cheating, don't do it. The damages are immense. There are 4 types of infidelity. The first type would be sexual infidelity, and this is from touching to intercourse. The second type would be emotional infidelity or emotional affairs, and this is where you're seeking affection, emotional support, and time and dependence on another person. The third type is, this is the modern type, technological infidelity. And this is, a very wide span of types of infidelity, but this is where you're texting someone, emailing, sending pictures of yourself, you're receiving pictures, images, and things like that. And then the fourth type is solitary, and it usually includes masturbating or fantasizing, again, in a solitary fashion by yourself. The most destructive types of infidelity and the ones that are seen as the most unforgivable are the sexual and the technological. And if you think about why is technological so damning and so hurtful or so disruptive, even if people never end up together? Well, first of all, the phone and the computer, they're always a trigger for you. And then the technological includes some form of sexual. If your spouse was sending naked pictures of themselves or body parts, that would be pretty damaging to you. There's a difference between men and women in how they react to emotional infidelity. Men care less about emotional infidelity and are more injured by sexual infidelity, where it's the opposite for women, where they're less affected by, even though they're affected, greatly affected, but they're less impacted by the sexual infidelity and more threatened by an emotionally unfaithful partner. General causes of affairs. Well, the most common are really just 2 people that have started living parallel lives. And, whether it's the kids or interests or work, where there's not a lot of interfacing anymore. And then all of a sudden, they're both living parallel lives, and then you got this other person, I call them mate poachers, and they come in and all of a sudden start paying compliments and making this other person that is kind of far away from this other person, they feel special. And then a relationship develops and it grows. But then, how do you get there though too? There can be just general disruptions, there can be incompatibility, you may be lonely, you may be neglected, or you just feel like your partner really doesn't understand you. And then also, sometimes people are in a really bad relationship, and we call it an exit affair, where it's like the way that somebody gets out of a relationship. I have to tell you this because this comes from personal experience from people that I know, as well as people on the couch over here. Most men will say that if my wife ever cheated on me, the relationship would be over. She'd be gone, right? Gone so far, or I'd be gone. But the truth is that even when it is the wife that commits infidelity, the relationship can still be saved, and it often is. So in fact, 65% of people that seek help for infidelity are able to maintain their relationship. Working through infidelity is no easy task, but if this is the love of your life and you're both equally committed to working through the relationship, know that there's hope. Know that the road will be long, but that 65 to up to 75% of couples that are both motivated to fix this and resolve the problem do end up being successful and recreating the relationship and finding the love that they, that they always wanted and that they deserve. Let's talk about the steps to recover from infidelity. The first thing you want to do is you end the affair immediately. You're not going to find any resolution if you keep it going. Number 2, you want to make sure that you are not disrupting daily tasks. So you probably have certain rituals that have to happen, certain tasks that have to occur, and your kids do too. You want to make sure that you maintain all the daily responsibilities. Number 3, you want to limit your discussions about the transgressions to 30 minutes a day, or if you're talking to a professional. You also don't want to have collateral damage by just talking over and over about what's happened. You want to focus on what is left, what's still positive. Number 4, you want to engage in self-care. You got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. You exercise, you try to get some sleep, you realize this is not the end of the world. This is really important. You do not have to decide right now whether you're going to stay in the relationship or not. You can wait till the dust settles and see if the other person's behavior changes and you can trust them. So this is the huge thing, because people often come in and they say, I need to know now, do I stay, do I go? And I tell them, whoa, you don't have to make the decision now. Let's figure this out first. I compare this to a puzzle, like a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle that's been like thrown up in the air. And that used to be your life. That used to be your partner's life, okay, who felt safe and could predict how life would be. And now you have destroyed that puzzle. So now that person has to put all those pieces back together in order to have some semblance of peace again. So if you're the infidel, it is your job to give that person all of those pieces so they can put all the pieces together. Once that puzzle is back together and they have all the pieces, they will then begin to heal. Problem is, the infidel wants to do damage control and wants to hide information from that person, often out of care, right? Or often that they're going to get in trouble, or they're going to erupt more challenges in healing. But the problem is when information just comes out slowly, then every time the person gets new information from the infidel, that receiver is like getting traumatized again and again and again and again. That's why it's better to be upfront in the beginning, not with every explicit detail, like every act, but your partner needs to know like how it started, who it was with, how many times, where, when, things like that. Another important aspect of healing the relationship, the person that committed the atrocity, the affair, they must show remorse, and must show lots of remorse. They must apologize every day for months. So whenever the person is hurting, they got to apologize. Is serial infidelity a thing? Is once a cheater, always a cheater? Well, I delved into the research for you guys. And what I found was, and I wasn't sure about this. But overall, no. Your past relationship, if there was infidelity, does not determine whether there's infidelity in the current relationship. However, there is a higher risk though, okay? That if you've been cheated upon or you have cheated before, it's more likely to happen again. There are some people that are just really suspicious and they always think that somebody is going to cheat. And sometimes they change the dynamics within the relationship and cause the other person to cheat because they create a very insecure, unhappy environment. So I plead with you, if this is you and you're suspicious, get help. And we don't know. We don't know until we delve in the relationship whether there's actually been infidelity or not. We know that couples wait 6 years after trouble begins before they seek help. So often an affair is a catalyst for a better relationship. But then, like I said before, sometimes for other people, it's a catalyst to end a very bad relationship. Working through infidelity takes immense courage. It takes just as much strength and courage to forgive as it does to be transparent and to work on past relationship difficulties. Be bold, do what needs to be done. Life is short, do it now.